Hi, everybody. This is Michelle Jackson. I am an author and the founder of the Black Writers Workspace, and I am so excited to be here with you today to talk with another amazing author from the Black Writers Workspace page. Her name is Linda Badawo, and she is here to talk about her book that's all about the foster care system, something that I think we all should focus in on and learn about because it is something that is impacting our community. And so we're going to bring Linda on. We're going to talk to her about her book. But there are a few things that I do ask that all of you do. And one is to share this on your Facebook page. Also, find us on YouTube and subscribe to our page at Michelle D. Jackson, and be sure to let people know about this interview. Secondly, I hope that you will all get ready to ask questions from me and from Linda about her book, because that's what this is all about. Give us all an opportunity to learn about writers, as well as to ask those questions that we're all thinking about, whether it's about what inspired the book, whether it's about the publishing or the marketing. This is an excellent time to ask those questions. So right now we're going to bring Linda on on the screen so that we can talk to her about her book. Hi, Linda, how you doing?
I'm good. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being with us. Tell us about your book, and tell us about yourself.
Yes, thank you. My name is Linda Badawo, and I am from Nigeria originally. I am the author of Double Trauma, Mismanaged Health Care in the Parent Foster System. I'm also the founder of Texans Little Fragile Voices with a mandate to relieve the plight of impoverished children, mandate health care for all, provide tools to end poverty, and enhance the laws that governs the foster care system. That being said, right now, what we are doing, Texas Little Fragile Voices, we are reaching out to families of disabilities, people that have disabilities, or if you have any child, or if you have any family members, we are reaching out to you to see how we can be of help to you. My book, Double Trauma, came about as a result of the injury that my son encountered while he was in the foster care system.
You know, you are an advocate and a leader and someone who people like me we look up to because you're giving voice to issues that are very important to the growth and the sustainability of our community. We don't talk enough about foster care. We don't talk enough about adopting. We don't talk enough about healthcare, in my opinion, in the way that we should. When you're looking at those who are underserved, looking at the poor, looking at young people who are in the system for no fault of their own. So tell us about your son and how he inspired you to write this book.
Yeah, before before I started fostering, I was working in a hospital, a psychiatric hospital. So that is where I come to learn about foster care and foster children. I didn't know anything about foster care initially. So my patients were the one that actually recommended me to, be a foster parent because most of them wanted to be in my home. So, but then I decided to go to school and become a nurse. Then I decided to go back to foster because it has always been, my thing to give out, but I didn't know how to give out. I didn't know what to where to identify myself. So when I finished my schooling as a nurse, then I decided to foster children. I'm sorry. So my son Deshaun inspired me to write this book because I see a lot of things that is happening in this system, like you said, that people are not talking about. We all know, we all have this mindset that children that are in state custody are well being taken care of, which that is not the case. So, but then when the incident about my son, came up, I decided that I don't want my son's situation to be one of those, and dead end case where it will be published on the news for 1 or 2, 3 months, and that's it, because that's what happened to a lot of children in the foster care system. So I decided to make it public, and to, at least someone can always go back and say, this is what happened to this child at this time, and it's always there on, sites for you to, reach out to reach out to the information. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Tell us what happened with your son. I mean, tell us what took place, and tell us about the moment you knew you needed to share this in a book.
Yeah, I will just give you a little bit of information about that. It was something that he needed, that the doctor ordered for him, and we battled with that. That treatment for about 9 months of appeals and denials. That's pretty much a long time, with all the documentation, all the doctor's letters, my letters. It was just too overwhelming. So after this incident of brain injury, there was no way I could just sit down and just cap it like nothing ever happened. So I decided to write this book, because a lot of kids in the system are going through so much that I really don't know where to start from. But I'm going to tell you my story based on what I encountered. And I know that I am not an isolated situation. I know my son is not an isolated case. I know a lot of kids in the system are going through this. But then when this injury happened to my son, that was a turning point for me. I was like, you know what? I have to, share this. People need to know about this. They have to know about this. Yes.
Well, we're talking to Linda, and she is the author of Double Trauma, and it is a book that talks about how to improve upon the foster care system. And I did share with Linda that I have firsthand experience adopting or in fostering through the foster care system. And so, what I think that it's so great to me to meet someone who is willing to write down what they experienced, because it's a lot. It takes a lot to get through the system. It takes a lot to be qualified to raise a child. Many of them have come from a really hard place, and then to be faced with healthcare issues, or situations where the healthcare system fails to provide what is needed for these young people. In your research for this book, give us a few ideas around how you would make things better for kids in foster care.
Thank you for that question. That's a good question. The first thing I say to anyone out there is, we know that these children, they are in the custody of the state. You cannot just come up and say you wanted to do this or you want to improve this. The system, the government officials, the legislative, they need to listen to us. Being the foster parent, we are the one that are actually seeing what is happening to these children. We are the one that these kids are, with 24 hours. And then if we relate those informations to the lawmakers, they're able to coordinate the care of these kids and say, okay, this thing happened here. We don't want this thing to happen anymore. That is the first step of resolving this situation, because the situation in this system is lethal. Is where kids are dying on a daily basis. Kids are being injured, and this is not, like I said earlier, it's not something that is just happening to one child. It's happening. So my first point of view, if I may say, is to reach out to lawmakers, to social, child protective services. If they could listen to us being the foster parent, they don't have to take everything we say, but listen to us and, do your statistic and see how we can all work together to enhance the life of these children.
Mm. Yes, and listen to the foster parents. This is something that I noticed in the process, is that there seems to sometimes be, and I do understand reunification with biological parents, and I won't get into that because I know that's a whole nother conversation. But because of some of the negative ideas or negative images or stereotypes behind foster parents, there's this idea that foster parents, there are bad foster parents out there. And yes, there are some bad foster parents out there. There are bad foster parents who aren't who are in it for the money or just in it for the wrong reason.
Yeah.
But there are some great foster parents out there as well. People who care about these kids, who want them to have a home, who care about, what's going to happen to them down the line, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years down the line. And the system doesn't always support us the way I felt. I didn't feel like there was the type of support that was needed. So are there any things or what you discovered in this process of writing your book about the foster care system, about your son who is now in a vegetative state, who you are caring for? Are there any things that you experience that you feel like will help other foster parents as they move through the process of fostering a child that would be helpful in their relations to that child, especially a child that's in a situation similar to your son's?
Yeah, that's a good question too. Yes, well, in my situation,
I'm
it was
sorry.
it was really hard to get anyone to do what they were supposed to do. But again, because it happens to me doesn't mean it's going to happen to everyone. One thing I will always tell foster parents is if you observe your child, needs medical care, always reach out to your doctors. Always reach out to your doctors. Reach out to your caseworker, to your child placing agency. Reach out to everyone. Document what you are doing. Document everything on a daily basis. How everything is going with your child. I think that's about it, because if you reach out to them and they do what they're supposed to do, your child should be safe in your care. Hello, Michelle. Are you still there? I think you're frozen. So yeah. So if you guys have any question, drop your questions below. The screen is frozen. I'm not sure if Michelle is right still on here, but drop your question here and hopefully see. And hopefully I'll be able to answer your questions. Again, the screen is frozen. I'm not sure if Michelle is here, but I'm going to use this opportunity to tell everyone out there, if you guys have the mind, the heart to open your doors for foster children, we do need foster parents, authentic foster parents out there who are willing to open their home for children in the foster care system. I am not doing this for an agency. I am not doing this for any organization, but I am doing this on my behalf, on behalf of my children, and also on behalf of the foster children out there. Please reach out to the foster care system and adopt any child that you can to at least provide a home and enhance the life of these children. I am going to see if Michelle is here. She is not on the screen. I am not sure what happened. I hope I am still on the screen, and I hope you guys are still seeing me. So yeah, hopefully you guys are still seeing me. So I'll use that opportunity to show you my book, and also this is Double Trauma, Mismanaged Health Care in the Parent Foster System. You can get that on Amazon. You can also get it here on Facebook. You can also get it. Okay, I think she's back. Thank you.
So sorry. We have technical problems on my end.
All right.
So sorry about that.
It's okay.
I'm glad to know you were continuing though. So thank you so much for that. It's technology. We have to know things happen. So I know you were wrapping up, talking about the book, but I want to go back because I'm sorry. I know we had technical problems, but I'm going to jump right back in because I think this is a very important conversation to have.
Sure.
And so once again, forgive that the technical issues.
No problem.
Let's go back again and talk about what it is that you feel like, the advice you would like to give to anyone who has a child from the foster care system. If you can give some advice to the foster parent, let's do that at this moment, because I think it's very important to have this conversation for a number of reasons.
Yeah.
First and foremost, if anybody would stop and take a look at the kids that are in the foster care system, they are predominantly African American. A lot of African American kids in the foster care system. And when we as African American families refuse to adopt or refuse to allow these children into our homes, you talking about building a pipeline to poverty and a pipeline to prisons. That's exactly what is happening. So when a good foster parent makes the decision to be a foster parent, it is it's a big transition in that person's life, but it also is an opportunity for a child to have a better life. And so I want to, pick back up on the conversation and talk a little bit more about the fact of what it is that you would like to say to those parents that are interested in fostering, who may have had a similar situation as yours, or who is maybe afraid of some of the things that you have had to face. And just let us know how you've been able to move through those
Thank
issues.
you. Yes. My recommendation to anyone out there who are willing to open your heart for a child in the foster care system is just open your heart and just be prepared for anything. Anything can happen, because it's not really what you think. What I was hoping for before I got into foster care, I was disappointed. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't open your heart, your home or your heart for a child. One thing one thing I will actually advise everyone out there for is, if you are not ready to foster, if you don't have the heart to do it, don't do it because your friends are doing it. Don't do it because your neighbor did it, because it can be traumatic. So but one thing I would want to leave with every foster parent out there is, if you are going through any challenges when it comes to medical care for your child, it comes to the care that your child needs in any way at all, I'll always ask you to reach out to your next line of authority. Reach out to your caseworker, document your conversation, reach out to your doctor, document your conversation, reach out to anyone. If it's a CPS caseworker, the child placing agency caseworker, just reach out to as many people as you can reach. I'm telling you right now, if I didn't do all of that, I'll probably be in jail right now. Because when my son had this injury, I was outside the country. He was out of my care for just 2 weeks. I've had him for 14 months, over a year. Nothing of this nature has happened to him. So imagine, I was outside the country, he was placed in another home, and just because he got this injury, all the tables turned around facing me. So if I didn't do all of these things, if I did not document all of these things, if there was not enough documentation, I probably be speaking to you or someone from jail right now. So please document, and reach out to your next line of authority, I would say.
Great advice. Great advice. Anyone out there, if you have any questions about double trauma, about Linda and her work, please, this is a great time to ask those questions. So much that you've said, I feel like you and I could have a conversation for 10 hours about this whole experience. And it's very hard to do in a 30-minute window. It's very hard to do in this platform the way I would like to. But I am happy to know that you are putting down your ideas and your thoughts about the foster care system in a book. Talk to me about how impactful has this book been on your case, as well as on the people around you? What are you hearing from people who are reading your book?
On my case, generally, it's been helping, because in the system they believe that a foster child that doesn't have any parental rights, let me explain that to you for a minute. we have different types of foster kids in the system. We have children that parents are fighting to get those kids back. And we also have children that parents just gave it back to the state. I cannot deal with this, just take the child. So when you have kids of that nature, that most of the kids are like that. My son was like that. When you have kids of that nature and something like this happen, it becomes quickly they want to dump that case like nothing ever happened. Just close the case, close the file like nothing ever happened. But because I took the steps that I did, I tried my best. I'm not saying because I did all of what I did. I'm hoping, I think it's God that, did everything. But I tried to get to the medias, and they actually published some articles in the Dallas Morning News, NBC5, New York Times. So that kind of shed the light on my case for me and for my son. So in that regards, yes, it's helping my case. And also your next question was what? I forgot this question. You said how.
For our people who are reading the book, how are they
Okay.
being impacted? Mm-hmm.
Yes, how they've been impacted. For people that are reading my book, I will tell you, as a foster mother, now I've closed my home. As a foster parent, I have a lot of groups that I belong to in the foster care and foster groups. And a lot of what I am hearing is now what I really wanted to hear. Linda, be careful. Linda, be this. You're dealing with the state. They could do anything. And this, as a matter of fact, I have a call today before this interview. Be extremely careful, Linda. You're dealing with the state. They could do this, they could do that. So they are more scared to me, even to open up or share my story on their page. They are scared, and that is the system that our children are placed in. They're placed in a system where you cannot visibly say this is wrong, and the system say, okay, this is wrong, and try to remedy that situation. And I can go on and go on and go on from my staffing agency. I can go on all day with that, with the experience I've had, in that regard. But I also have some positive impact when it comes to churches. I take my books to churches, and they are really ready to, embark on this journey with me to try to see how they can also, be of help and relieve the crisis that these children are encountering in the system.
It's great to hear. So, Linda, I am highly impressed with you. When I read your story, I felt like you were definitely someone I wanted to talk to. You came to the States from Nigeria at 19. You became a nurse. You decided to be a foster mother, and you have done everything you can to help children. And you mentioned to me that you have 5 kids total. So I'm very impressed with everything that you are doing, and with your book, being able to use it to advocate for what you believe in is very important as well. So talk to us about your publishing and your marketing. And I just want to remind everyone that you can still ask questions. You can put those in the chat box, and I will ask those questions on screen to Linda. And I think we have a few coming in. So, but talk to us about your marketing and your publishing of your book for now.
My marketing hasn't been too great, but good. I've been doing well on it. I have been going from churches to churches. That's my target. That's my goal. I wanted to share it in church as much as I can, because I believe that, in a gathering like that, they share the same values and beliefs like I do. And I can easily get parents and, individuals to look into fostering. That's my goal. So I have been doing that, and a lot of interviews and a lot of book signing are coming up in April. And so churches have been really, trying to get my books. They've been really getting my books, not trying, I would say. But then also it's on Amazon. I have been selling a lot of books here on Facebook. Thank you to all of you that have been buying my book. And I really appreciate everything that you guys have done to be part of this journey with me. I cannot thank you enough. Yeah, that's been, I have done one or two drive through, like I went to like McDonald's crazy, and also to one of these restaurant, and I did have a lot of turn off. I have few clients that are selling my books out there as well, and they have a little percentage of what they sell. So yeah, those are the marketing strategies I've been taking.
So did you publish? Did you self-publish your work?
Yes, through my yes, through Echo Book Publishing.
Okay. Okay. And so let's kind of wrap up with where you see things going, and are you planning to, I mean, I know this is an ongoing issue. It hasn't been resolved yet. It's going to go into the courts. Um, and where do you think everything is ultimately, where do you want everything to ultimately go? Is the question that I have for you. Where do
Where
you
do I
want
want everything to go in regards to foster care or to my son?
to your for your son first, and
Yeah.
then talk to us about the foster care system? Mm-hmm.
Um, it is what it is right now for my son. We all know when the doctor say a child is brain injured, is brain dead. But I am a believer, and I always believe that something can change for my son. But the thing is, I don't want what has happened to my son to be, and this is a nightmare. And I'm telling you, you know, we know that when you go through trauma or death of a loved one, you go through that cycle of healing. And I've been going in cycle. And for it, I thought I was good, and I thought, you know, as a nurse I know what to do and I know how to handle situations. But I'm telling you, there are days I'll wake up just start screaming and crying. I'll tell you, there are days I'll wake up and I'll believe that everything will be okay. And there are days I'll wake up, I'll just be like, I'm just dreaming all day. So this is not an experience that anyone should go through. And definitely, I don't want any child to go through, you know, this situation. So I hope that, you know, what happened to my son and with this book, it can bring awareness to the system that which a lot of things can change. There can be a reform, rectification, you know, just a lot of change in the system that which children placed in the, when child goes to foster care, they already been through a lot of trauma already. And for you to re-traumatize that child in the system is just you are just messing an individual up, and there's no way that that child will grow up, you know. There are some foster kids that, I'm not saying that all the children in the foster care system go through this, don't get me wrong, but majority of children in the foster care system have gone through so much trauma already that you don't want them to be re-traumatized in the system again. So my hope is that there should be some reform. The government can come together and, you know, just change some laws, you know, giving insurance so much leverage over the doctor's order is just not acceptable in real world, but in their world is acceptable. So these are the things that I want them to be able to come together and look at it and just how they can change things in the future.
That is a great way to close out. We have Linda Harris who said, "Hello, ladies. Much love to you, Linda." And I
Thank
want to share in that sentiment, much love to you as you continue on this journey, and all the blessings for your son.
thank you.
I love what you said about foster care. Like I said, we could have this conversation. I share your sentiment in many, many ways. However, I know also that I don't want to spend the time talking about just my situation. I wanted to hear about yours and your book. And I love what you're saying. And I love the fact that you're really pushing this through the church, which is a great avenue for marketing your book. And I'm just happy to know that you're part of the Black Writers Workspace. So thank you so much. And again, I want to apologize to everyone
Thank
for the
you.
technical issues. But this is going to be on the page. You can share it. And we will also have this on YouTube, and we'll put clips on it on Instagram. So thank you so much, Linda.
Thank
And
you.
if you ever need anything, you give me a call and just
Sure.
continue to work with us at the Black Writers Workspace.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.